In this video, I'm going to talk about the Artist's Way and my experience of the 12-week course. I've included my weekly video diary check-ins so you can see the roller coaster experience I've had. And at the end of the video, I've included some tips and recommendations for those of you that are thinking about doing it, along with my conclusion. Really frustrating, good and not so good stuff. So much synchronicity, brilliant. I just finished The Artist's Way, which is a 12-week creativity course by an author called Julia Cameron. I'd seen this book come up in loads of the books that I was reading, and I'd wanted to do this for years, but I never really felt that the moment was quite right. And then we went into lockdown during COVID-19 here in the UK, and with lots of time on my hands, I figured that that was the perfect time to get started and delve in. What this book has done for me, I never could have imagined, and I'll be telling you all about that later on in the video. But before I do that, I'll explain a little bit more about this book. It's designed for anyone who makes stuff, creates in an artistic way, whether that be an artist, a writer, a dancer, carpenter, you might be a blogger or a vlogger or a filmmaker, anybody that makes stuff. And I suppose to a certain extent, we all create stuff on a day-to-day basis. The book is 12 chapters and you read and complete one chapter per week for 12 weeks. And it's a combination of something called morning pages and a combination of tasks. Morning pages is 3 A4 pages of handwriting in a notebook every morning, and you just write whatever comes into your head. You can moan, you can rant, you can say nice things, you can say horrible things about other people, about yourself. Anything that comes into your head, you write down. And if you can't think of anything to write, then you literally write, I don't know what to write. The weekly tasks are a mixture of writing and physical tasks, such as writing 5 imaginary lives, writing about your childhood accomplishment, 25 things that you love. There's quite a lot of letter writing in there, and there's some physical tasks such as decluttering. One of the tasks that has to be done every week is an artist's date. It's an opportunity to spend time with yourself, to go out and have a date with your creative self, to relax and rediscover your passions. And then at the end of the week and the end of a chapter, you have a check-in where you get a chance to reflect on the previous week. And I recorded my check-ins on a video diary, which is the reason that this video is so long. But if you don't want to watch them, then you can skip forward to the tips and recommendations and conclusion at the end of this video. If you do that, then I won't be offended. The reason that I wanted to do this course is because I really enjoy making videos and writing blogs, but so often things happen in my life which takes my time and my energy. I'm coming up to 40 years old, and for many years I've wanted to make more videos and write more blogs, and I was just becoming a little bit sick and tired of that feeling of wanting, and I just figured that now was the time to actually start doing. Even though this book was written in 1992, I felt as though every single chapter was speaking directly to me. It was as though it could read my mind, and clearly Julia Cameron, the author, has a very special gift. If you're wondering if this book is for you, then I have got a few questions. Is there something that you want to do in life but you haven't got the confidence? Is there a voice in your head that talks you out of doing things? The book calls this voice the censor, the inner critic, and my inner critic often says to me, "You're too old, you're not pretty enough. Why are you making YouTube videos age 38? You didn't go to film school and you've got no idea what you're doing. People will think you're a wally. You're wasting your time. Get a proper job." My inner critic voice always surprises me because I've got a high self-esteem, high self-confidence, and I always go and get what I want. But it was loud enough for me to take attention and not take action. So if you've had similar thoughts, then this book is definitely for you. What I experienced was nothing short of incredible, and it totally exceeded my expectations. So before I give you my tips and recommendations, I'm going to show you my weekly video diary check-ins, which I hope that you find useful and you can really see the journey that I went on. Week 1 was always going to be hard, just because I'm having to add 30 to 45 minutes onto my day. And really at the minute where I'm at in my life, I'm just wanting to crack on. So I found sitting and writing for that time really frustrating. Also found it really emotional, insightful, beautiful, healing and restorative. And it opened up quite a lot of memories that I didn't know were lurking around in there. One particular memory going all the way back to when I was 8 years old. Also, I was really surprised with the amount of negative chit chat that come up in all of the morning pages. And as it was all coming out, it felt really raw and quite upsetting and almost put a bit of a negative vibe on my morning. But at the end of it, at the end of the 3 pages, I saw once it was all written down, I started to kind of understand how it could be beneficial that it was out of my head and on the paper. Although it is taking a lot of work, I'm really excited to see what's at the end of week 12. In order to get the pages done, I'm having to get up quite a bit earlier. So now I'm up at 6 a.m. and even that process is becoming slightly easier. And I'm looking forward to grabbing my notebook and pen and just emptying my brain. The pen flowed a lot easier this week, and I found that I didn't write very much about the past, but actually wrote about the present, including quite a lot about where I want to take my future. I went on my artist's date, which was really lovely. I went to the park with my camera and I just wandered around for a couple of hours taking pictures. I don't have really any photography experience, but I just wanted to get close up and look at some of the things that maybe when I'm in the park running, I usually miss. I have hidden away quite a lot this week. I live with 2 other housemates and we're usually doing so much stuff together, but I felt vulnerable, slightly introverted. And if you know me, you know that I'm not an introvert, and I've been hiding away because I've just been processing all of these emotions and I didn't really know what to do with it. But I am kind of hoping that that feeling doesn't last for the remaining 12 weeks because it has actually been quite hard. The experience felt much more positive this week, and it wasn't as though I was trying to make it positive, it was just the stuff that was coming out of my hand just felt much better because the last few weeks haven't made me feel great. I can definitely feel myself opening up to creativity and also more specifically having the confidence to be creative. For example, I'm making this video. In the past I would have found every excuse to not set up my tripod and my camera and just talk to you guys. So that's really nice to see so early on in the course. What I've noticed this week is it's really nice to get all the crap out of my head, and one of the days where I was writing, I just came up with a coping mechanism for when I'm struggling a little bit, and it's so cool because I'm really starting to love morning pages and understand how they work, that as I'm writing, all of these thoughts are just naturally coming into my head. I do feel as though the course is bringing up quite a lot of stuff, and basically it was as though someone was giving me advice, and so I just wrote it down, and I've been using that coping mechanism ever since. Kind of sounds a bit spiritual, I suppose to a certain extent it is. The book is very spiritually based, but I'm definitely getting my head around it all. This week there was a mixture of good and not so good stuff coming out of the pen, but when I'm writing the not so good stuff, I'm finding that it's not quite as raw and it's not making me feel as emotional as it was in the last couple of weeks. I'm feeling really, really pumped to show up every day, and there's been some really great ideas that have come out onto the paper, stuff that I'd never even considered before or thought about. And my motivation is so high, as are my energy levels. I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks I've created more stuff than I have done in maybe the last year. I just feel as though week 4 the floodgates have opened, and I've just got all of this enthusiasm and energy, and it's almost like before I felt like an animal that was chained up, and now someone's come and just cut the chains off and I'm just running free. There's just way too much in my head than I can explain on camera. Personality wise, I feel much softer around the edges. The first few weeks I went through all of these waves and emotions, but now I'm just starting to feel softer, much more zen, and just way more calm, and just knowing who I am. There's just so much stuff that I just want to say. It's more a feeling than I can put into words. But week 4 has definitely been the best week yet. Something happened, something clicked, and I'm loving it. There's been some really, really powerful exercises as part of the course. So I'm currently 37, and I had to write a letter from 80-year-old LT to me right now. And when I was doing it, it was it was so powerful. As soon as I started doing it, just tears started just falling out of my eyes, because I had to write to myself, almost like I was giving myself advice. In particular, it was what interests I would urge myself to pursue, and also what dreams I would encourage. And it was just such a powerful exercise for me to realise what I want to do, and also just that I'm just making all of these excuses not to do it. One day I will be 80, and I may well think, you should have done this, and I definitely know that I don't want to feel like that. I wonder if I'll read that letter back when I am 80. It may not look like it, but I'm really looking forward to week 5. I've really lost a lot of momentum, and a busy week got in the way, which I know I shouldn't have let that happen. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into week 6. I've got all my jobs out the way, and then looking forward to the next few weeks. I've got a lot more free time, and I feel as though I've got a lot more headspace to really dedicate to doing this course. I have done all of the tasks this week, and I particularly enjoyed it because they were physical tasks, going out and collecting things, and also doing quite a lot of organising in the house, which took ages, but I feel really great having done it. I have experienced quite a lot of synchronicity recently in terms of thinking about stuff that I want to do and I want to create, and then I might get a phone call or an email offering me to do something similar, so that feels really cool. But I have felt quite disconnected from the process for the second week running, and I do feel disappointed in that. I just really want to connect like I did in the first few weeks. So I think I need to show up and do my morning pages 7 days a week, and I need to stay committed to doing my tasks. And in this week's tasks, it pointed out that I'm to say to myself, treating myself like a precious object will make me strong. And I haven't been treating myself like a precious object. Back on it. After 2 weeks of feeling quite disconnected from the course, I'm slowly feeling that connection again, and especially this week things have started to click together and I've been finding answers within my morning pages. I could certainly be finding more time for myself, the artist, more love and self-care, but where I'm at the minute is that I've found my creative flow, and now I'm in it, I just want to stick to it and carry on creating. But also I've got to remember that I need to take care of myself to then create. I'm just wishing that I had come across this book years ago, because the progress I've made in 8 weeks is just phenomenal. I'm just doing more stuff now than I've done in all of my kind of creative career. I really enjoyed the tasks from this week because they was all writing based. One of them was to write my most ideal day, and I just got lost in this world of what my perfect day is, so I just threw myself in 100%. I have experienced so much synchronicity this week, and the book is always talking about synchronicity in terms of using our morning pages and then seeing these coincidences or these serendipitous moments that happen in our life. And this week has just been huge. I wish that I could talk to you about what some of the things that have happened have been, but they're just a bit too personal to me that I just don't want to share it. But just what came out of my pen and onto the page and then what happened a few days later was just incredible. It like kind of blows my mind, and I'm really starting to understand how the morning pages is really helping me progress in my life. Despite this having been an amazing week, I have also felt quite blocked. Like I've had all these opportunities present themselves to me, but I've also felt this barrier to stop myself moving forward. And the book actually explained in this week's chapter that when we're making progress forward, that we have this tendency to self-sabotage, because actually it's a way of us stopping from getting what we want, because actually we're fearful of getting what we want. So I've had to outline and address some of those issues in my morning pages that made me realise actually all of this tiredness and this procrastination is actually me stopping myself from moving forward. And again, once I got it written on the page, it was just basically this eureka moment. One of the tasks was to recognise something called a creative U-turn. All of the things that I'm doing that sabotage my development and my creativity, and it was really surprising what came out in terms of these subconscious actions and things that we tell ourselves so then not to go and get our goal. One of the tasks as well was to read our morning pages from the start, and I'll be honest, like I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just didn't feel prepared this week to go through that emotional roller coaster. Through this whole process, it seems that a lot of opportunities are coming my way. Maybe they would have come my way anyway, but some of the stuff that I'm writing in the morning pages and the opportunities that are coming up, they just sync really well. I can't believe that I've made it this far. The tasks in this particular week were super cool and I really enjoyed them. And there's always part of me that wants to tell you about them, but I feel as though I wouldn't be doing this amazing little book any justice. And I also just don't want to tell you what's in it because it is such a special experience. I'm very quickly learning that each week holds ups and downs. Some weeks I can feel super, and this week I felt a little bit poop. I've now worked out why I end up feeling a bit poop, and it's when I'm not doing what I want to do, and that is creating, that's making more videos, that's writing more blogs. So I finally worked it out. When I feel poop, it's because I'm not creating, and when I feel poop, I don't create. So what I need to do is just create, even when I feel like poop. It's the end of week 12 and I feel bloody brilliant. Things have continued clicking into place, and because it's the final week, I kind of feel as though I felt obliged to get on with stuff. And I can't work out if my progression that I've made over the last 3 months would have happened anyway, or if it's a result of the artist's way. But either way, I have made fantastic progress. And it goes without saying, there's a definite shift and a huge improvement to me 12 weeks ago to me right now. I don't feel as scared as I used to about putting my work out for others to see. I've got more ideas and creativity, and I've learned how to write and script a video, and also how to edit using a new editing program. And most of all, I've learned just how to just be myself and feel confident in my work. I'm about to embark on a really exciting journey, and I'm not sure I would have made that step without this book. And the final bit that I wrote for my week 12 check-in was, thank you Julia Cameron and the Artist's Way for guiding me to find my inner light. I hope you found those check-ins useful, and it gave you a little indication of the ups and downs that the course might bring. And if you're thinking about doing this course, then I'd love to share some of my thoughts and recommendations just to help make your journey a little bit easier. I've got 5 recommendations, and the first one is the time commitment. Just be aware that your morning pages is going to take between 30 and 45 minutes every single morning. On top of that, you've got your weekly tasks and your artist's date, which will take between 1 and 2 hours. So you're looking per week between 5 and 6 hours. Recommendation number 2. If you're wanting to do this course but you think that you might struggle to do it all, then it might be worthwhile doing it with a friend. That way you can keep each other accountable and motivated. Recommendation number 4, and that's to just crack on with it. I found that in the past I wanted to do this course and I was always giving myself this excuse of it's not the right time, but I think now is the right time because this is 12 weeks. 3 months, there's always going to be things happening in life. Christmas, weddings, New Year's, birthdays, whatever's going on. There really is no perfect time. The perfect time is right now. Recommendation number 4, and I'm going to set your expectations and tell you that it's going to be tough. There's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be times where you're going to want to stop the course. But I'm almost going to be insistent that you can't stop the course. You have to see it through to the end. Throughout the weeks, my emotion and productivity were up and down. There'll be some weeks where you can't write every day, you can't do all of the tasks or do your artist's date. But don't stress. Just accept that you can't do it all, you can't do it perfectly, and just carry on with the course. The course brought up quite a lot of bad memories for me, and this left me feeling quite groggy for a few weeks. But once I'd got it all out of my head and onto the page, I felt as though this huge cloud had been lifted. And recommendation number 5, that's commitment. If you're going to commit to do this course, then do it. Commit to it. There'll be times where you want to quit and you're going to look for all of the excuses, but it's just 3 months. Ask yourself, what could happen if you completed it? This book is so incredible, so amazing, and so life-changing. When the course finished, I felt really sad because the whole experience had been so powerful. I don't want it to sound too cliche, but it felt as though I'd had this kind of awakening. But on the flip side, I was pleased it was over because now I had my morning back and I could crack on with all the things that I wanted to do. But weirdly enough, I ended up coming back to morning pages just completely naturally. I felt as though my day wasn't set without clearing all of the junk out of my head. The morning pages have become an essential part of my day-to-day life. It's basically the best form of therapy I have ever done. All in all, the course has taught me to become more creative and more confident, but also as a byproduct, it's helped my mental health. And because of that, the relationships with my friends, my family and my work colleagues have also improved. I'm altogether calmer, and then that reflects in the way that I communicate with others. I'm also doing the things that I want to do with my life, so therefore I'm just all round happier. And one friend even said that she'd noticed a difference in me. All these things just seem like huge statements that come from just a 111-page book, but it's absolutely true. There's this guy on YouTube, and here's what he said about the course.
I feel like a different person. I don't think I've ever been this comfortable with who I am, where I am, where I'm going.
And I can totally relate to that. Like, I am those words. Going forward, there are so many videos that I want to make, ideas that have been rattling around in my head for so long. But this amazing little book has pointed me in the right direction and just filled me up with all of the right skills and all of the confidence to do it. One of the things that I'd wanted to do for a long time, but just never had the guts, was to move away from social media so I could concentrate all of my efforts on making YouTube videos. So recently I packed up my mobile phone and sent it to Australia, and I knew that having the phone in the house would just distract me, so I sent it abroad. I've also just finished a 7-day fast, and I'm currently in week 1 of a 30 days of yoga challenge. So I'll be making videos on all of these things. So if you want to see these, then hit the subscribe button. Ideas are coming to me all over the place, and I just crack on with stuff and it feels so easy. I've learned how to write scripts, and I've made some of my best videos ever. Although this course was a challenge at times, I'm so pleased that I invested the time and energy to do it. I also wish that I'd done it sooner. So if you're thinking about doing this, I urge you, just get stuck in and do it now. If you have a desire to do something, you just have to do it. Because when you're in your final years, you may well look back and wish that you had done it.